your dad came running, he was all excited, there goes the guy running down the street. You didn't call 911.
I did not.
All right. Did you tell your dad to call 911?
I asked him if he did. I was thinking that I asked him, have you called 911? Because he comes running in. I thought that he was already on the phone with him or had contacted because he was outside. And he said yes. So I assumed that that was the call at that point.
All right. You made a statement to...
Have you called 911? Because he comes running in. I thought that he was already on the phone with him or had contacted because he was outside. And he said yes. So I assumed that that was the call at that time.
All right. You made a statement to Detective No Hilly hours after this incident, correct?
I did.
Okay. You never told him that you thought your dad had already called 911?
I told him that I believed 911 was called. I don't know exactly what I said, but I believe I did tell him that I was under the impression that my father had called 911.
Do you remember on about page 9 of your transcript telling Detective No Hilly that Mr. Arbery's running, he won't stop? I said, that's him. Stop right there, stop where you're at, and then you turned to your father and said, call the cops, there he is.
Yeah, if I can have a picture.
Got him. The key facts that I want to focus on and I want you to look at and actually respond and tell me what your thoughts is on the matter, strictly in regards to the fact that you put yourself in a position to possibly be in some type of situation and you're the one who actually brung the gun. And both of these situations are the same. And a lot of people don't understand, like living in the hood or living in the inner cities, it's like there's crime all the time. Well, you could be living in fear all the time. So every time someone does something or does something crazy, it's okay to shoot them. Check it out. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I want to break it down real quick for y'all. Check it out. Here we go. We got Travis and we got Kyle. Kyle's 17. Kyle's the 17-year-old, right? Travis, I don't know. How old is he? 45? Who knows? Alright, so we got two different guys. Kyle shoots people. He shoots a bunch of people, right? And his reasoning why is because he brung a gun. He had a gun. Right? And he was in fear of his life. Fear. And he was in a tough situation. In a bad area. Bad area. Right? Travis also brings a gun. Right? And he ends up shooting somebody in fear. He was in fear, right? Now, he also says he was in a bad area too, right? Bad area. So, one thing you got to understand is there's an age difference, right? But both people, Travis and Kyle, both brung a gun. They both brought a gun to the situation where someone got killed, right? And they're both saying it was due to being in fear, and they're both saying you guys gotta just see. Look what they're doing here. Two guys, they both bring guns, they're both in fear, and they're both in bad areas, right? Here's the difference. Kyle is in a riot. He's in a protest. Right? He's in a riot or a protest. Travis is in his area. He's wherever he lives. You know, he's in his hometown or his little town or whatever, right? But here's the difference. Kyle shoots people, right, that are chasing after him. They're chasing him. They're chasing him because he just shot someone else that was also chasing him, right? Everybody's chasing this guy, right? But they're chasing him because they just thought he committed a crime, right? So people are trying to chase him because they think he committed a crime. He's running because he thought he committed a crime. Travis and his father, they're actually chasing someone too that they thought committed a crime. They thought Arbery committed a crime, so they were chasing him. So what are we seeing here? How many similarities is this? Two different people. Think about this. Think about it. Think about this right now. So we got two different people, both in fear, so in fear that they shot someone, even though they both brung the gun, and they both are either chasing someone that committed a crime or being chased because they committed a crime. Okay? So the guns were there because of Travis and Kyle. They brung the guns. They were the ones in fear. The thing about Travis, my thing is, they didn't ask the most important questions. What is the most important questions? The most important questions is, if you was in fear and you were in your truck, why didn't you just drive out of there? Or follow him if you thought he committed a crime from a far, safe distance. And if you go on to this, you'll see at 5 minutes and 30 seconds that he even says he didn't call the cops. So you think someone committed a crime, you grab your gun, but you don't call the cops? I don't even call cops, and I know better than that. So, once again, two people, Travis, Kyle, they both bring guns. They're both in bad areas. And they're both in fear of being harmed or killed. And this place, Travis is chasing Arbery. And in this case, the people that got shot were chasing Kyle. How interesting is that?
He running, he was all excited. You know, there goes the guy running down the street. You didn't call 911.
I did not.
All right. Did you tell your dad to call 911?
I asked him if he did. I was thinking that I asked him, have you called 911, because he comes running in. I thought that he was already on the phone with him or had contacted because he was outside, and he said yes. So I assumed that that police had been called at that point.
All right. You made a statement to.
I said, have you called 911, because he comes running in. I thought that he was already on the phone with him or had contacted because he was outside, and he said yes. So I assumed that that police had been called at that time.
All right. You made a statement to Detective No Hilly hours after this incident, correct?
I did.
Okay. You never told him that you thought your dad had already called 911.
I told him that I believed 911 was called. I don't know exactly what I said, but I believe I did tell him that I was under the impression that my father had called 911.
Do you remember on about page 9 of your transcript telling Detective No Hilly that Mr. Arbery's running, he won't stop? I said, that's him. Stop right there, stop where you're at, and then you turned to your father and said, call the cops, you know, there he is.
Yeah, if I can have a picture.
Got him.
Yeah.
As to the fifth count of the information Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Do you wish the jury poll? No. Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and we started just about through.
I'd have to read the article.
Well, that might make a difference. And what about the you're asking questions about excluded evidence?
Your Honor, we went over this earlier, and I don't want to repeat myself because I know you've heard me, but if I could just summarize. I did hear you talk about that evidence this morning before testimony. The defendant then took the stand. He admitted that he had said to the person in the yellow pants that he had pointed the gun at that person.
He needs to be fired. He messed that whole case up. I actually watched this in detail. I feel like the DA failed as far as asking the correct questions, definitely. Number one, he never asked this kid, if you were going to this riot, protest, whatever, why would you bring a gun if your whole intentions were to do medical? If I'm coming to do medical, why would I bring a gun? That's like if I'm going to a woman's house to give her a massage. I'm going to bring oil. You know what I mean? Candles. I'm not going to bring a gun. Like, you know what I mean? And then he never asked him that. And then on top of it, another question he never asked is, after you shoot one person, two people, accidentally or out of fear, does it never cross your mind, like, let me throw this gun in the bushes? Like, let me get rid of this gun? Like, I'm making all these mistakes. I'm shooting people. Oh my God. I don't know what to do. I just keep running. So what if you had a 100-round clip? You just keep running, and every person that runs after you, like, you just shoot everybody that runs after you. Like, I mean, how many would have been too many? Like 9. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if another person would have ran at him, oh, that guy had a knife. Oh, that guy was a murder victim. Well, he was charged with murder in the past. And he was running at him with a vicious face. He shot him. Like, I don't know. The DA definitely asked the correct questions. Like, I feel if you're truly in fear for your life, I feel like, yes, do whatever you got to do to defend yourself. But I feel like the reason you brung the gun is because you knew it was going down. So why would you put yourself in harm's way or possible harm's way? And then you're saying, oh, it's to, give people bandages and stuff. All right, so why'd you bring a gun? It's just like the situation that I just said. Like, if I went to a girl's house, to give her a massage, it's like, why would I bring a gun? If I thought it was hostile, why would I even go? It's pretty basic if you ask me. As far as the videos and as far as like the actual testimony,
The case that I am drawing this from is Day versus State. It's 76
definitely felt really scripted. As far as the videos that I seen, let me know if I missed on something, but I did feel like he was running, he was scared, like, trying to get away. But I mean, after one or two people, or even after the first person, you didn't think like, yo, let me help this dude, let me put the gun away. Like, even if somebody takes it, let me slide it under a car, throw it on a roof, anything. Like, yo, oh my God, I didn't mean for this to happen. Let's get the ambulance, let's get people, let's take care of this situation. you start running, making it seem like you're trying to get away, so people start chasing you. Like, yo, he's trying to get away. They chasing you. You know, people are yelling, yo, he just shot somebody. And these people are like, yo, let me try to get this dude. You know, he just shot somebody. He's trying to get away. Just like in the last case we just looked at, they're saying, oh, he's trying to get away. So they chased him down. So in two different situations, you see the same thing. They're saying someone's committing a crime, right? And there's people trying to stop that crime. Or stop the person from getting away, right? Think about this. Now, both people are trying to get away. He's trying to get away, but he's saying he shot somebody in self-defense. Arbery was trying to get away. You know, for all we know, he was self-defense. It's like it could be either way. Who's saying this kid, why did he have a gun? Was he even legally able to carry the gun at the time? You know what I mean? And if you ain't even able to fight, like, I could fight. So if I had a gun on me and someone ran up like, give me your gun, I could probably hit him with a couple blows, or at least push him off me. Don't have to shoot them to keep my gun. But if I was that weak, why would I even put myself in a position to have a gun or have $1,000 in my pocket if I can't defend myself? You know, why would I even put myself in that position? I'm going to a riot. I'm going to a protest. And I'm going to bring a gun that I can't even stop somebody from taking it unless they shoot me. Why would I even put myself in that situation?
Question, Ahmad, demonstrates a lack of immediate knowledge, which is required under the citizen's arrest law. Because it's required, that means this was not a lawful citizen's arrest. Remember what Greg Mcmichael said? Did this guy break into this house today? I don't know. But hey, law enforcement officers, I'm sure he must have committed some crime today, so why don't you go out and figure out what crime it was that he must have committed today? Why do they think he must have committed something? Because he's running down the street. He might have gone into somebody's house. Pure speculation. And after he's lying there dead, Greg Mcmichael's there telling the police, hey, why didn't you investigate? So I'm sure he committed some crime today.
You're looking real nervous, brother.
That's not a citizen's arrest. Not legitimate at all. So what are you going to hear?
I hate to interrupt closing argument, but the state is misstating the citizen's arrest law repeatedly in this section of its argument. And I'd like the court to instruct the jury that the law will come from the court. This is not an accurate statement of it.
The court is going to charge the jury on the law, and as indicated, you'll have a copy of that charge with you to review during your deliberations.
Thank you. Judge is going to charge you these exact words. Judge is going to charge you these exact words. So what are you going to hear? The state suspects that what you're going to hear from the defense is this, that Travis Mcmichael had probable cause to believe that Ahmaud stole the stuff off the English's boat in 2019 and was escaping that felony on February 23rd, 2020. Not really sure how you escape on February 23rd, 2020 from a crime you supposedly committed on some unknown date in 2019 that Travis Mcmichael's mom told him about. But basically, we have this where he came in, took the stand, and said, yeah, that's what was going on. So I was going to go ahead and arrest him for this. Here's the problem. This was completely made up for trial because no one anywhere at any time ever mentioned Larry English's boat. Never on February 23rd, 2020. Travis Mcmichael had 2 hours and 45 minutes to talk to the police. He was given an hour to write a 3-page statement. An hour to write it down. Never, ever, ever once said anything about this. So what can you go ahead and assume? A year and 9 months later. completely made up for trial. All right, so simply put, ladies and gentlemen, if you determine that this was not a citizen's arrest, this was not legitimate, he had no probable cause, you can't do this based on the law, then guess what? They're not justified in killing him. They're not justified in any of the felonies they committed against him. Not a citizen's arrest. Therefore, you're not justified. You're the initial aggressor. You're committing felonies. Self-defense. And that gets us to the charges in the indictment. So that's what we're looking at here. Based on that, at that point, you may find us guilty of all the charges in the indictment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the snapshot view of what I think you're probably going to hear from the defense and what the state's position is on that. So now we're going to do some deep diving. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the juror's duty. We're going to talk about some legal concepts that you need to be aware of. The judge is going to charge you. We're going to go over the charges in the indictment. We're going to talk about party to the crime. And then we're going to kind of really get into what self-defense and citizen's arrest is. And I know it's going to take a minute. Bear with me, but this burden's on the state. So we have to go through all of these things. All right? So here we go. Juror's duty. First off, this is your search for the truth.
She's breaking it down.
This isn't about the state. This is your search for the truth. You are Glenn County. You decide whether they're guilty or not guilty. Not the defense attorney. Not the state. You. Your search for the truth. You determine what really happened based on the evidence presented. Okay? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, what's the evidence presented? Well, you can go ahead and look at State's Exhibit 190, which was the actual video. 191 is the half-speed video. You can take a look at State's Exhibit 194, the night owl video. You can go ahead and take a look at 129. That's that close-up compressed, sort of enhanced for coloration video that was produced that shows the close-up of Travis pulling that shotgun up. You can go ahead and take a look at State's Exhibit 117, Officer Rash's video. You can also take a look at 124, the video from December 17th, 2019. And of course, you can always ask to see State's Exhibit 315, the frame by frame if you want to see it. So how that works is you send a note to Judge Walmsley and you go, we'd like to go ahead and review that evidence, and you come into the courtroom. When you come into the courtroom, we don't get to say anything. Okay? Nobody gets to talk. And actually, at that point in time, you're in control of what you get to watch here in the courtroom. So I wanted you to be aware of that in case you want to review any of this evidence. All right. You are the finder of fact. Not the state, not the defense. You are the finder of fact. You determine witness credibility. All right? You're the one who decides whether you believe these witnesses or don't believe these witnesses, or how much weight you give a witness's testimony. You're going to apply the law the judge gives you to those facts as you find them to be, and that's what you're going to do. So, you have a duty to follow the law. You're bound by the instructions and the law the judge gave you. In other words, this isn't about becoming an advocate for one side or the other. This is about what are the facts, and here's the law, and we apply the law to the facts. You have a duty to deliberate. Okay. The reason I put this slide up is because one time we had a woman who went and hid in the bathroom for like an hour and a half. Like, hid in the bathroom. And the jurors didn't know what to do. They were just sitting back there for an hour and a half and had no idea what to do. Anything like that happens, just send the judge a note. Okay? Anything weird happens, anything you're unsure of happens, send the judge a note. But you have this duty to deliberate, to talk about the case. Now, sometimes it's helpful to think about what's inside the circle and what's outside the circle. Okay? Because there's some things outside the circle that you're not, or shouldn't really talk about. And what are those? Well, that mostly concerns penalty and punishment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be given a verdict form, and on that form you're going to write not guilty or guilty. That's all you're going to do. Okay? So, it's not about passion or prejudice or you disagree with the law, you don't like the law, conjecture. It's about the evidence. And so what do you consider? Well, you consider the elements of the crimes. Judge Walmsley is going to give you that. The law. The expert testimony. Okay? Fingerprints. Fibers. The medical examiner. The photos and documents. Look at the crime scene photos. Take a look at those photos. They're hard, but take a look at them. The testimony of the witnesses, the credibility of the witnesses, the defendant's actions, their driveway decisions, and how it led to someone lying dead from 2 gunshot wounds in the middle of the street. The elements of the offenses, the reasonableness, and above all, use your common sense. This is the time when you put on that critical thinking cap, okay? Meaning you question everything. It's sometimes really easy to see somebody and you want just to go, well, I want to believe what they had to say. You know, I don't want to believe automatically that they're a liar or anything like that. I want to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, that you put on that critical thinking cap, where you go ahead and scrutinize everything the people on the stand said to you. So, reasonable doubt. That's the doubt of a fair-minded and impartial juror honestly seeking the truth. It's not about seeking out doubt. It's about seeking the truth. And it's not beyond all doubt or to a mathematical certainty. No. It's just beyond a reasonable doubt. That's the burden that the state has. All right, so the evidence. The first thing you're going to want to do is determine what really happened based on the evidence, but a lot of the evidence isn't in dispute, right? I mean, we know what days Larry English called the police. We know when we have videos. We know this was on February 23rd. The homicide's on video for the most part. Okay, a lot of these things are not necessarily in dispute. What's in dispute is, were they making a citizen's arrest so that they were justified in committing these felonies against Ahmaud Arbery and then murdering him? I mean, that's really what they're arguing about here. So remember, it's not a whodunit. Glenn County Police arrived very quickly afterwards. Minshew heard the shots. The defendants all made statements at the scene, immediately after. They're making statements. They're saying stuff to the police. Then, a couple hours later, the defendants are all down at the Glenn County Police Department, also making statements. But here's the thing, you've got to ask yourself, were these self-serving statements? I mean, think about it. The very first thing that we showed you was Duggan's body cam video. It was hard, right? But you got to realize, Travis Mcmichael's seen him right behind Duggan when he rolled Mr. Arbery over. That's what he saw. That's what Greg Mcmichael and Mr. Bryan saw. So then you got to think to yourself, okay, what's going on in their heads? There's a dead man in the street. Travis Mcmichael has just shot him. Okay? The police are on the scene. There's now a video of it. So are their statements a couple hours later self-serving? You decide. The GBI did their investigation starting on May 5th, 2020, followed by the arrests. So first off, the credibility of witnesses. That's for you to determine who you believe and who you don't believe. Okay, so what does that mean is you're the one who decides whether Travis Mcmichael was telling you the truth or lying to you. Right? So let's talk about some of the defense witnesses. Annabelle Beasley. What did she do when she got off the stand? She walked over here and waved at them as she walked off the stand. I mean, I know you all saw that, right? Okay, so Annabelle Beasley, Team Mcmichael. Subi Lawrence. Who is she? Boy, Team Mcmichael. Even after this, after the shooting, she and Brooke Perez and Diego Perez, they're going out in the boat with Greg and Lee Mcmichael. They're still hanging out with them. Okay, Team Mcmichael. Brooke Perez, Team Mcmichael. Up until February 11th. And then what did she tell you? Her husband, Diego Perez, had it with this. Had it with Larry English, not calling the police. Had it with helping out Larry English. He wasn't going to do it anymore because this was not cool. Why was it not cool? Because Diego Perez went inside that house with his flashlight, and Greg Mcmichael came up and went in the house. What was Brooke doing? My husband's in there, my husband's in there. All right, well, Greg Mcmichael had his gun. Travis Mcmichael told you that. He had his gun, Diego had his gun, Brooke had her gun. You know, everybody had a gun. Everybody in this case had a gun, except Ahmaud Arbery. And so, what almost happened? I mean, come on, let's get real. It's a miracle Diego Perez and Greg Mcmichael didn't kill each other inside that house, right? Pulling guns out. And that was it. What did Brooke tell you? No more. Not doing this anymore. You determine the credibility of those witnesses. Now, when you consider Travis Mcmichael and his testimony, here's some things you want to look at. The judge is going to tell you, these are things you consider. The manner of testifying. Evidence of bias for or against a party. Does he have bias for or against Greg Mcmichael? It's his dad. Okay? Motive in testifying. Yeah. He wants you to come back with a not guilty verdict. It's in his best interest. Think about the probability or improbability of their testimony. I wondered why he was attacking that truck. On Holmes? Like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. I mean, do you guys understand what he was getting at? I mean, I guess we're back to Ahmaud Arbery's a carjacker. Their interest or lack of interest in the outcome of the case, meaning do they have something to gain or lose by coming in here and making up a story for you? Their personal credibility as you observe it. That's for you to decide. Not for the state to decide, not for the defense to decide, for you to decide. All right, so did Travis Mcmichael have a motive to lie to you? Do you have a motive to make up additional things that he had never said before?